Well, a really tough match. I think is remarkable. What the club, what Sean and the coaching staff have done in recent years with the resources that they have, the style of play that they have implemented, and how well they execute it, how efficient they are. It's always really tough to play against them. At home, it was a tricky game because we play with 10 men as well, and we end up losing on a set piece, which is a big part of the game. So hopefully we can get a very different results.
And you're 10th in the table, so there's 8 points between you and the top four. Is that the aim for this season?
Well, the aim is to go and beat Burnley. We've been chasing that for a while. It's not in our hands. The only thing we can control is our own results and performances, and we are fully determined to do that better than what we've done in the last 8 months.
And last one from me. Is there any injury updates, including Mikel Arteta as well?
Well, Mill had a scan yesterday. It doesn't look a significant injury, but he was in discomfort. And for the rest, hopefully everybody should be okay.
Thank you very much, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. We'll go to Jamie Weir from Sky.
Hey, good on, Mikel. Even at the start of the season, or that sort of tricky patch that you had when results weren't necessarily great, you were always adamant that the performances were pretty good, so you were fairly content. Are we starting to see that now, that we're getting the performances as well as the results?
Yes, we have seen that more consistently since the Boxing Day. Even though we've lost some games that probably we should not lose, but it's part of football. But I think the way the team is playing, obviously, there are a lot of improvements. But again, there are so many things that have to still get better, because even at Leicester having total control of the game, we gave them two big chances. One, the one they scored, and the one that when almost we gave the ball to Vardy to score. And when you make it 2-0 in this league, you make it so hard for yourself. And after it's true, the team had a great reaction. We play well, and I think we deserve to win the game. But there are so many things still to get better at.
It seems at the moment you've got so much attacking talent in particular at your disposal, and you're having to leave players on the bench some weeks that clearly, they're ambitious, talented players. They won't be happy being on the bench. That's a different side to management, isn't it? Having to keep all those players happy. Is that still part of your management that is developing?
Yeah, that is key. Obviously, you need a large squad when you play a lot of competitions, when you play in Europe, and you need quality players. Some of them that we already have, some of them that we are development, and then those players need competition, but at the same time they need opportunities, but they have to deserve those opportunities. And I think we've seen in recent months as well a lot of individuals increasing their levels of performances, and it's exactly what we want. I think that's the problems as managers that we want.
I know Rebecca's just asked you about the top four, and you say your target's just to win against Burnley on Saturday. But there must be some talk about it amongst the players that, you're on a good run at the moment. Nobody exactly is grabbing the top four. It is up for grabs. There must be some talk amongst the players that you can do it.
Of course there is, because that's the aim, and that's what we want to take the club back, which it hasn't been in the last few seasons, and our eye is always there. But it's true that it doesn't depend on us, and when that happens, we have to rely on other people, and that's never good. So we've got enough relying on ourselves and doing what we have to do first, and then I'm sure if we do what we have to do, we'll be in a much better position to then see where we are at in the last 4 or 5 games.
Just one final question from me. Obviously, it's silly season and everyone's talking about what clubs might do in the summer. Not expecting you to give me any names, obviously, but are you expecting to have quite a bit of turnaround in the summer, a bit of a clear out and a few new players coming in?
Well, we will see. Obviously, we are planning what is going to happen in the summer. It will depend as well where we finish, how we finish. In some cases, I think what we had to do in December is unprecedented. A club of this stature, to do the amount of transactions that we have to make, it tells you as well where we are. But I think it was very much needed, and you want to improve, you want to do that. It's whether with the things that you have in the house and you believe that you can improve, or if not externally, acquiring players to go to the next level. So everything is planned, and let's see as well what the market can bring and what the last few months can bring as well to the club.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. We'll go to Ian from TalkSport.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
Good.
I just want to ask about not the top four necessarily, but Europe. I remember when Arsene Wenger was at the club, and year in, year out, he would finish in the top four. And some people take the mickey out of him because he hinted that being in the top four was like winning a trophy. If you don't win the Europa League this season, there's a real possibility Arsenal could not be in European competition at all next season.
Yeah, at the moment it is not a possibility. At the moment is our reality, and we have to be judged on that. And I think it's a fair judgment as well when people wants to do it. But the option to be in Europe is still available through two different paths, and we have to maximize that as much as possible, because the club's history is related to not just the Europa League in recent years, but to the Champions League, and obviously anything that is not at that level it's fulfilled of disappointment.
I mean, we're all hoping the fans will be back and hopefully full stadiums the next season. It's important, isn't it, that Arsenal get into European competition, because obviously financially it's important. It's important for the fans as well, and it's important for the club not to fall perhaps even further behind than they have done.
And it's important because we want to experience this game playing with fans, which is the whole purpose of it. And me personally, having the joy and how lucky I feel to be the manager of this football club, I want to feel the fans in our stadium. I have to have that feeling, that the chemistry that we can create with them and play for them, and the team transmit to the fans, and the fans transmit to our team the passion that they have for this club. And at the moment, that piece is missing. I'm missing it personally a lot, and I'm sure that the players are doing the same. So hopefully everything will be back to normal next season if everything goes in the right direction. And obviously, as you mentioned, financially, obviously, it's going to be a huge cost as well.
Your captain at Leicester was Alexander Lacazette, and he put in a good display. But it looks like he's going to be leaving in the summer.
He's got a contract with us. He played really well the other week. It's exactly what we demand him to do. I am really happy with him, and the discussions about his contract will happen soon, and we will see what happens.
So you're hoping, like Aubameyang, he's definitely going to stay then?
Well, I'm hoping that the players I have with contract are going to continue with us, and after every case is going to be different, and we will assess that and we'll make decisions in relation to that.
My final question, obviously your great friend Pep Guardiola, your old club Manchester City, are homing in on a world record of winning 25 matches in a row, up to 21 now. It's a rather mischievous question, so forgive me. What would be the greater achievement this season? If City break that record and get more than 100 points again, or Arsenal's invincible season?
I don't think we need to compare. I think what City is doing under Pep is phenomenal, not this season, but the season that they've been together. To sustain that level of perfection, to sustain that hunger, and the level of the way that they play football is a joy to watch. And we all have to be grateful that in this country we have the joy to experience something like that, because it's not about the way they play, it's the character that team shows, the spirit that it shows, the hunger, and not with the ball. I think the best example is these players with the ability that they have, how they chase that ball when they lose it. I think that's remarkable, and Pep has done that at every club, and I think it's a joy to watch that team play.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mikel. Good luck at Burnley.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to George from the BBC.
Thanks, Dan. Hello, Mikel.
Hi.
Mikel, in your experience as a player and as a manager now, do you think this Man City team is possibly the Premier League's best ever? Because you've been in the Premier League a long time, and there's not a team like this at the moment, is there?
No, with the maturity that they've showed, and obviously the way the team has evolved in recent years, I would say in this moment is the best, but obviously to probably say it's the best ever. Now they have to win everything, like that team did a few years ago when they got the 4 domestic competitions. If you add to that the Champions League, then I think there is no question, because nobody's done it.
Why does everyone hate playing Burnley? What is it about going to Turf Moor that no managers enjoy?
I don't hate. I quite enjoy it because it's what the Premier League is about is going into those grounds and making happen and being able to compete against a style that it's very defined and that they execute to perfection. And that's big credit to them. There is not one or two ways to play football. There's many ways to do it. They do it within the rules. There is nothing that they do outside the rules, and they do it really well. And I think from my side, they merit much more credit for what they do than when they sometimes do. I think it's admiration as a coach to get the best out of that group of players, the resources that you have as a club, to create the atmosphere that they do at that stadium. It's all credit to them because they believe in what they do, and I think that's really nice for English Premier League.
And the last one from me, have you read the Spanish newspapers this week? There was talk that you're going to be potentially a next Barcelona manager. Just wondering what the reaction is.
That is always going to be a speculation when there are elections in Barcelona. It's a huge team. Obviously, I was raised there as a player, and they're always going to be linked. But I'm fully focused to the job that I have to do here, which we have a lot to do, and I'm really enjoying it.
So one day, but not today or tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow, I am the manager of Arsenal Football Club, and I'm really enjoying it. And I want to do much better than what we've done.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks, George. We'll go to Mark from PA.
Well, Mikel, just a little bit on that. Have you started contract negotiations yourself with the club at all yet?
Sorry, I could not hear you, Mark.
Sorry, have you started contract negotiations with the club at all?
No.
Is that something you'd like to do over the summer? That you'll go into 2 years left, I believe.
We are in the middle of the season, Mark. We have a lot to play for, and at the moment, it's not a priority. I think that's okay. I still have a contract here. I am happy here, and I don't think it's something urgent.
Could I just ask a little bit about Eddie Nketiah? Unlike Joe Willock and Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he stayed put in January, but there's been games recently where he hasn't even made the bench. Is he someone who maybe moved on in the summer just because he needs
Well, when we were talking about management, this is one of the hardest decisions for me to leave someone like Eddie out of the squad. But at the moment, everybody's been fit, and we have so many options up front. But it hurts as well because how Eddie behaves, how Eddie trains every day, and because he's a player from our academy. But he will have his chances. He needs to be patient. He's showing no signs of just lacking attitude or anything like that. It's completely the opposite. He's a joy to work with, and he deserves minutes. And if he doesn't get it, it's just my fault.
He played so little football, really. I'm for other reasons as well. But is there a worry that at some point it could damage his prospects if he's playing?
Yeah, there is, because he needs to play, and we wanted to use him a little bit more in some occasions, and we didn't. To be fair, when he's played well, but at his age and for what he's done in the last 2 or 3 seasons, he needs more minutes. So it's something that we have to talk about it openly and make the right decision. Yeah.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Nick Callow from Haters.
Morning, Mikel. I know that the Barcelona story is a bit of a sort of an offbeat one. But in your brief experience as a manager now, would you prefer to be in charge of a club like Arsenal where you've got more of a say in things, or as Arsene Wenger always used to say, he would prefer that and not be at Real Madrid where players are picked for you and you're at the mercy of presidents and owners?
I don't know. What I can tell you is that I feel privileged to manage this football club and that I'm extremely happy.
Okay. Can I just ask you about, we're talking about players and the summer and so on. I'm just looking at players like Mavropanos and William Saliba, who seem to be doing well out on loan at the moment. How much are you keeping in touch with them, and how much are a part of the future plan?
Well, we're having meetings very often to assess what they are doing. Obviously, we are getting all the information and watching their games because I want to keep a very close eye on what they are doing. We were talking yesterday, for example, with Ben Napper, which is our loan manager, that is in charge of monitoring everything that we are doing. We are in contact with the players, and let's see. It's good news that they are playing. It's good news that they have the possibility to have a lot of minutes, because that's going to give us a much better perception of where they are and how can we use them.
And is there any update on Balogun at all? There's speculation that now he's sort of distancing himself from the club.
I wouldn't say so. I think I am pretty positive about it. Every time I spoke to him, he mentioned the same thing, that he's determined to stay here, that he wants to stay here. We have some really positive conversation with his agent as well. Edu is in charge of that. He's been spending a lot of time and energy to try to get that deal happen, because it's important for us to keep our talent in the house, and I can guarantee that we're doing everything we can to keep him.
Okay, and just finally, Gareth Southgate was saying some nice things about Bukayo Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe yesterday when he was doing an interview. Has he been on to you to ask you about the progress of those players, in particular Smith-Rowe?
No, not directly him, but obviously we know the staff, and we know how they are looking at them, and I'm extremely happy and proud that they can be used with England, because that means that we can provide some talent that is come through our academy, and I think there is nothing better for us than that.